Well, seems like Travis Scott has dodged all them cases from his concert in 2021. A Texas grand jury declined to indict rapper Travis Scott in relations to the November 2021 Astroworld concert in Houston. 10 people died and hundreds were injured from the crushing stampede at the show. And Travis Scott was on stage when the surge happened, joined by Drake. Travis Scott said he never encouraged people to do anything that resulted in the people being hurt. Scott's lawyer told AP calling the decision as a great relief. Addressing the decision, District Attorney Kim Ogg said that no single individual was criminally responsible. So yes, it seemed like Travis Scott has dodged that bullet. But as far as civil, you know they're going to come after him because he got money. And, a lot of people were saying that he offered to pay for funerals and stuff, and they declined it, which is sad because, everybody need help. But check out his lawyer right here, man. He going to break it down.
Performance, he was notified that anything was happening. Correct?
He was never notified, and in fact, what ended up being developed or during the course of the investigation is that at 20 minutes until 10 o'clock, a police officer contacted somebody from the security company and the head of Travis's security and told them as soon as Drake leaves the stage, Travis needs to end the concert. So these two individuals went backstage and they met with the guy who's called an auto-tune operator, who could speak to Travis through his earpiece. And he said, as soon as Drake leaves the stage, we need to close the show. Do your final number and you need to get off the stage. Nobody knew why, or at least nobody in our camp knew why. And so as soon as Drake left the stage, the auto-tune operator told him, do your closing number and get off the stage, and he did. And so that's one thing the police were always in agreement with, is that Travis did everything the police asked of him, even though it was incorrectly, but he did everything that was asked of him. And he closed the show exactly when they told him to do it.
Do you know what charges did he consider for the major?
Well, now, see, we're a little bit unclear with that. I mean, nobody could really articulate what the possible charges would be. So we assume that it's involuntary manslaughter, negligent homicide, reckless endangerment. There's all sorts of possible charges it can be. But then when you start looking at each charge individually, you realize there's really no evidence to suggest these things. There's two ways they could have come at Travis. One would have been if they believed that he was involved in the planning of the concert, the planning of the venue, and failed to provide proper security, or that it was set up in a negligent manner and you could have predicted people could have been killed. But by contract, Travis had nothing to do with that. That was all Live Nation. So then they look at, did Travis do or say anything from stage that could have caused this? For instance, had he said something like everybody riot, everybody go crazy, storm the stage, and people were hurt, that could be criminal. But he didn't do that. And so after they reviewed the tape over and over and over, the police concluded that he didn't say or do anything that would make him criminally liable, because he never encouraged people to do anything that resulted in other people being hurt or killed.
Was it ever established why, you said the officer and the head of Travis's security told the auto-tune guy to close it out after Drake left? Did anybody ever find out why they never explained, hey, people are getting crushed? Why there was not more urgency placed on that message?
No, we don't know that. The police, the officer, who I believe is really the head officer in charge of HPD's contingent that night.
Who was that? Do you remember?
I believe it was Officer Satterwhite, but I'm not positive. But he was the ranking officer at the scene from what I understand. And to my knowledge, what he told them is tell Travis as soon as Drake leaves the stage, shut it down. So, what we have since found out is apparently at around 9:40 they declared it an emergency disaster area. And so the police decided not to close it at that time. In fact, it was Chief Finner, the day after the concert, that held a press conference saying that he huddled with the fire department, with the people from NRG and CSC, security company, And they decided the safest time to close the concert that wouldn't lead to crowd riots. And, you know, if you go back and look at the tape, that's what the chief said. So they made the determination what time to end the concert, and Travis ended it as soon as he was told to end it.
What, you know, we've been reaching out to some of the family members, and obviously there are civil cases pending, but they've said that they want criminal charges, and they would be disappointed if none brought forth. Do you have a message to any of those families?
Yeah, I certainly do. I mean, I feel sorry for their loss. And you know, within days of the concert being over, I contacted either the families or their lawyers offering to pay funeral expenses on behalf of Travis. And every one of them, even the ones that said, yeah, okay, then came back and said no. I feel bad for them. I know they lost loved ones, but Travis is not responsible for that. Bringing criminal charges against them will not ease their pain. I've lost a child. I know what it's like, and it's a horrible thing to live with. But indicting Travis for something he's clearly not responsible for is not going to ease their pain at all.
Well, there you have it. The audio on that one was kind of foggy, but you got what he was saying. He's just saying, man, that ain't his fault. And, you know, people going to still come after you. When you rich, that's how it go. But yeah, prayers out to the families that lost somebody. And prayers out to Travis, man, because he's been going through this since 2021. And, man, it look like a victory on this side. Let's see what the civil do. Please subscribe and hit that like button. Let's go.